Hello, we're going to get back in doing some work here today. Basically, we were doing a whole bunch of blueprint stuff earlier, and we discovered that our code sucks for dealing with blueprints. And we need things that are easy to use, not just obnoxious like we currently have. So we're going to spend a couple hours, and what we're going to do is we're going to make it so everything is easier to use. That is what we have to do. Basically, there's a lot of things that we need to fix, and we basically need to make a whole lot of duplicate code and hooks into this thing so that it's super easy to call what we want without having to do a lot of work. There's a couple of ways we could do this. We could make a bunch of static functions which take objects. I don't really want to do that because it's kind of a pain in the ass. So what we're going to do is we're basically just going to make a whole bunch of functions all over the place that do all the same crap. Just everywhere. So let's take a quick look. Kind of make a list. Kind of figure out exactly what we need to duplicate all over the place, and then we'll go do it. You know, fun times. We might also want to make a few helpful things that kind of get updated every turn, because there's a few things like countdown timers, that sort of thing. So countdown timer, that's easy to use in blueprints. There's got to be something there. Basically, I want to be like create a timer and then like make some functions on it, like start, stop, call me back, you know, 2 seconds, and just have it work. We need to be able to get all the basic, objects from anywhere in blueprints. So I should be able to, like, instead of having this like entity thing right here, I just want like get movement controller to work. It would be even better just to not have to do that. Kind of like if there was some way that we already had all these variables set and available on the class, as opposed to having to get them every single time. So why don't we think about that? Think about having variables set on everything all the time. Like maybe we could have a variable that's on our blueprint already, kind of like entity is, but it's kind of like a cached thing that has everything on it, and we could kind of break it apart. So maybe, can we like break link? No. So can we have an entity and like promote the variable, watch this value, convert to value, get. Kind of like we have on some of these where we can break out some of these things. Kind of like this where you got all of these different types here on we're breaking out an animation group into the things that it is, kind of like here. Maybe we could do that. So we've got like this variable here that all of our blueprints have, and that way I wouldn't have to copy pasta crap all over the place. I could just kind of have that piece available, and you could always just call get on it or something. You know, that whole thing. Because having to like call all this crap all the time is just awful. I'm trying to think. Like, if we had a class or something else where these things were all defined real nicely. I'm trying to think of a pattern, basically, where we have all these different classes, and we pretty much want everything available all the time. And we could have, like, static methods which do these operations, which you pass in something to. Like, you pass this into, you know, one of these methods, like get animation or get entity or something else. But I don't want to have to do this where we have like flow control stuff. I want just like this nice interface here where you just have it just done. So I don't want to have functions. I want to have variables that have this stuff on it. Like, this is okay where it's, you know, we're breaking out the movement velocity from the return value. That's okay, these breakout nodes. I'm okay with that. So I think that's what we might want to take a look into doing, is getting a class, kind of a U object, or a U struct. I guess maybe a U object would be better, because it could be null and all that. A U object that has things on it. Well, why don't we just take a look real quick? Why don't we put something together that works and we can actually look at and see how it is. So let's go to our Dashkin game data. We've got game data utils, get config. So we got our Dashkin entity utils, and I think this will be the place. We basically want a U object which has all of the things about an entity on it. And let's make a U object and a U struct, and let's put a whole bunch of variables and shit on it and see what it looks like inside of Blueprints. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have a U class here, which is gonna be U Dashkin entity vars, and we're gonna have a U struct as well. Kind of like this dude here with all of its a U class, we want a U struct like this. This is gonna be F Dashkin entity vars. This is going to be, let's just do test object. And what do we want on here? Like, we need public. Gosh. Ah, my nose is itching. Stop itching, nose. There's no reasons for that. So we want our entity variables, and we need to actually open up our entity utils objects over here. So let's do so. And alright, so what sort of things do we need? Let's just go to our entity actor, and let's grab our getters real quick here. It's like we got all these U functions for all this stuff. So let's just throw it in here and just change it into let's just say like entity and flipbook and anims. Logic controller. Movement. Let's just call it logic and movement. Just controller. And movement data. And logic component. Movement. And then we want this T-array of physics component. We don't need this crap. Physics component, yeah, that's fine. And this should be U properties on all this stuff. So let's just make sure we got it all. Yeah, we're looking for like this. Cool. So blueprint read only, blah 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 blah. So okay. Pointer, 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 pointer. Good. And we're going to want the same thing on our ustruct, which is all the same crap. And let's just go ahead and make sure we're not being super lazy. Do we have actual, like, constructors for these objects? Like if I went ahead and declared a constructor for this struct, can I actually do anything in it? Because what I want to do is I want to set all these to null. Kind of involved for a test. Let's do it. Let's test these things. Let's get this so it doesn't suck. So Adam has nothing to complain about except like actual legitimate things. Alright. So we'll get all these things declared. Alright, so we've got our things declared, and we're going to need to actually include, like, you know, all the headers in here. And I think we're just gonna like say class and just forward declare everything here, because they're pointers, so who gives a damn? We don't need to, as a compiler, actually know what these things are other than their type. And if it's a pointer, it's like, oh, it's a pointer to a class. Well, cool. We know what size that is. We don't have to do anything crazy for that. And then here we can basically just like include all the things, like include our Dashkin, logic controller, yeah, this whole H file of nastiness. Maybe we don't even need to know what they are. Maybe we could just use it anyway, because we're not actually modifying or calling any functions on these things. So maybe we can just, the compiler will be like, you know what, I don't need to know what this is. We declare some variables. The people who use this stuff will have to know what it is, but I don't have to know anything about them. Just to set them to null? We don't need to actually know what it is. Expected generated body at the start of this thing. Alright, so we need generated U class body. Right up there. So we get this thing running, and we'll throw a Dashkin entity vars object on both, and a U and F Dashkin entity vars onto our logic object, and then I want to see what it looks like inside of blueprints. It really doesn't like that these things are the same name, so we're going to do Dashkin entity vars struct. Just to hell with it. Okay, fine. You can be upset with me. And we'll call this vars class. Or classy vars. Right? That makes sense. And of course, we got to recompile all the headers and all the things, so we're going to do that. While we do that, we're going to just sit here and wait while our life slowly slips away from us. Where did it all go wrong? So we're just running some experiments. We want an easy access, easily accessible variables for all of our things across all of our objects, so we're not just smashing our heads against the wall with flow nodes. And there's a whole bunch of stuff on our object that we need access to. And I want it as variables because I don't want to have to do that stupid like flow node stuff where you actually have to call into the getter function to initialize the variable, because that's just annoying, right? Like it's not actually real logic and like flow control stuff. It's just like the variable's a variable. Like just give me the damn variable. I don't need this circuitous S path over on this crazy stuff. Just like it's a getter function. Like, do we really need to include that as part of our flow nodes? Alright, so we've got these in here. Now what we need to do is we want to actually throw one of these onto our logic object as a protected thing. So let's see where we got our U properties. Like, where's entity? Yeah, it's right here. So I want this class here, let's just call it vars. svars, and we want a struct. And we want to call it, yeah, this will be cvars and svars. And we want these to be blueprint read-only. So basically, like, let's just make these variables, they're only read-only, and that way we can't screw around with them too much. Let's just see what we can do about it. And let's see if it being a pointer or not actually matters. Type must be uClass, uStruct, or uEnum for unrecognized type f Dashkin entity vars struct. Type must be uClass, uStruct, or uEnum. Well, it is a uStruct. Did I type it wrong? Entity data. No, it's not this one. It's not this one. Did I close the file or something? I'm staring at the file. Maybe that warning is not actually... Maybe this error is not the error I think it is. Maybe it's that I can't have a null uStruct. And that's what it's complaining about. Yeah, so let's just take off the pointer here real quick and see if that's what it's bitching about. And probably we can't forward declare something if it's not a pointer. So we have to include this thing. Yeah, type must be a blah or a blah. So let's just include Dashkin entity utils.h inside of here and just get on with our life. And by get on with our life, I mean get back to compiling where we are comfortable. We're comfortable watching progress bars. We don't actually have to do anything, and nothing's our fault. And that's what we're working on earlier today. Basically, the created the logic controller, where we have our logic object, our state groups, and our logic states, and we're able to override all three of them in blueprints, and does cool stuff. The only problem is it takes like 3 flow nodes to do anything useful, and 6 flow nodes to do anything complicated, and that's just too many flow nodes. So we need to reduce that number to, like, 1. That would be handy. That'd be real handy. So let's see what we've got. It's going to be on our logic object itself, which is this guy. Whoops. I don't want that function. Get out of here. Delete. We want to override, like, uncreate. Instead of comment block, let's just call it uncreate. So let's see what we can do. I want to access S bars, and I want to grab something off of it. So we can break it into, like, these sorts of things. So this is S bars, this is a struct. So this is how we could grab stuff off of it. So if I wanted the movement component, I could just do that. So if I was going to say, like, get the movement component and print out the current state, let's call movement component get state, what is it? Get movement object. No, oh yeah, we just want the actual movement, right? So it'd be like get velocity. So that's what it would look like to retrieve something out of our struct. So let's grab our cvars, get cvars. We want to call, like, get movement. So, and then we call, like, get velocity. So which thing would we want to work with? Would we want to work with something that looks like this, or do we want to work with something that looks more like this? Well, let's see. I am unsure as of right now. I mean, this is 2 steps. And the other thing would be like if we could have all these U objects that we have here come off of some base class which has all this stuff on it. Like we could say this extends, this U object that we have extends this other thing. I'm looking over at my Twitch stats and I see my stream stutter and die, and I'm like, is Comcast? Is Comcast doing the Comcast thing? Is that what's going on? So why don't we just take a minute. We'll save this up and let's see if we can very quickly just have our object, our AI object, extend kind of a base U object class itself, like so. And so we have this thing being a public U object. What if we changed it into a public U Dashkin entity of ours class? Let's take a look at it. And what we do is basically, member variable declaration entity cannot be defined in Dashkin as it's already defined in scope Dashkin entity of ours class. Shadowing is not allowed. Okay, so we'll basically be able to take this guy off of here. Remember, we're not actually going for super optimal efficiency in terms of this code is absolutely perfect, oh my god. We are much more looking for something that's easy to work with. Because if it's not easy to work with, we're not going to be able to make the game. Like, sure, we can program everything in assembly, but good luck getting your artists to do that. You know, good luck. And of course we are screwing up all the things. So this should be a test. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep it as a test. We're actually going to call this just entity data. And inside of our logic object CPP, we're going to undo that. Try again. But it definitely looks like I like the U-class interface better inside of the blueprint. Like, breaking stuff apart is just another big blob of crap right there that's really annoying to look at. So let's see if we extend from this base U object that has its things exposed, if that's any better. My feeling is yes, it's going to look pretty good. But we don't care about feelings. Alright. Getting work done. And hopefully I can have some of this stuff online before Adam wakes up. So he wakes up and has, like, you know, a Christmas morning that he didn't even expect. So it's like a Christmas where you've actually got to, like, sleep soundly. Unless, like, your family hates Christmas. So pick your other favorite holiday. Maybe Thanksgiving. Not everybody has Thanksgiving. But everybody I know who celebrates it enjoys it. At least the eating part. So let's see. So if we're like calling get velocity on the Dashkin movement object, we might be able to just... We just want movement, right? So it's going to be like movement. Get movement. Yeah. I think that's great. So if you want to get your velocity, it's just like, okay, cool, done. Now, can we... It'd be better if we just didn't even have to do that. You know, if we could just call get velocity. Of course, the issue with that is that every class would have to have, like, every method on it, which is just unmaintainable. So I think out of these three different ways, one is have a utility structure, a utility class on everything that we need, and we just share like a pointer to it. Having an actual, like, every U object derived from it, or having a struct that we hold all the data on every object. I think option 1 and 2 are probably what we want to go with. Having an, the F Dashkin entity var struct seems kind of not super great, because it's a big obnoxious drop down list that you got to deal with. So I think we're going to go with option 1, and we're also going to have option 2 on the table. So option 2 will be like, we can grab this thing from somewhere and then we can actually use it when we need to. But this would make things a lot easier. Like, bam, I can get my stuff. No problem. Cool. So let's start making this happen. What we're going to want to do is we're going to want to derive from that thing. So let's grab our basic stuff. Let's also get rid of our struct that we don't need anymore. And we're gonna need, it's not gonna be, we're gonna have like actor. We're gonna have entity data, flipbook, anims, logic, movement, controller, movement data, logic component, movement component. What else do we need? I think that's probably pretty close. We could have like our entity proxy, which is like the data we initially spawned from, but I think this is probably enough. Let's take a look at our entity proxy actor and see what else. Our entity actor here, and see if there's any other variables that we might want. Movement, flipbook, logic controller, movement controller, virtual controller. No, I'm not seeing anything that can't live without. Okay, so actor, entity data, flipbook, logic, movement, controller. Let's... Should we call it anims or just anim? Animation? Just animation sounds better, I think. Logic, movement, control. Yeah, controller's fine. Alright, cool. So then we're going to go to our Unity utils, and let's just make sure it's all actually set up. Unity data, flipbook, animation, logic, movement, controller, movement data, logic, component, movement controller. And we need a few things in here. So there's going to be like a protected function here. Should be like void set fill from actor, and we want like a class a Dashkin Unity actor pointer actor, and we want like a reset method. We also want to make this transient, so this will be all nulls and all that crap. It's not going to be saved anywhere. Let's change it to Dashkin entity object. Is entity object actually a thing? No game? No game yet. I'll probably switch over to playing games at some point today, but I came back and I still had energy to work, so it's important to keep working. At least it is to me. When you got energy to do it, keep doing it. That way, when you don't, you can just say, the hell with it. So, call to fill out our data from a new actor folder. And call to reset. And if you're curious at all about the title, Boiling Plates, Shaving Yaks, it's kind of a phrase. You know, I'll get right to actually making the game after I finish shaving this yak. Which is a reference to whenever, I mean, you might have heard the phrase shaving yaks, but it's like when you got your producer there, and he's like, so why isn't this task done? And then you like launch into some 15-minute tirade about how it's not your fault when it really is. It's more like, so when are you actually going to do the work that needs to be done? You're like, oh, well, I got to finish all this other crap first. And be like, okay, so... And in their mind, they just don't understand anything you just said. They're just like, okay, great. So there's something you have to do, whatever. So you might as well just say, well, I gotta shave this yak first. So like, why do you have to do that? Be like, well, the yak needs shaving. Oh, okay, cool. I'll check back with you on Wednesday. And boiling plates is about writing boilerplate code, which is just where you hook everything together because you have to. Not because you want to, but because it must be done. So, we need to call all the things. And yes, we are adding another X number of bytes to every single class in the entire project, pretty much, but I don't care. Convenience trumps everything. For this, at least. Never heard of shaving the yak before? It's a pretty old expression. I think there was even like a Ren and Stimpy cartoon about shaving a yak at one point, and it was not the sexual Ren and Stimpy. It was the actual. Alright, so our actor should be actor, and if actor equals null pointer, then we're gonna return. We're actually gonna call reset on this thing just real quick, just to make sure that everything is set properly. So it's gonna be actor get entity, actor get flipbook. This is gonna be actor get anim, actor get logic controller. This is gonna equal actor get movement controller, actor get virtual controller, actor get movement data. Right. Actor get logic controller component. Get movement controller. Movement component. Controller component. Alright, cool. We also need a like. Is this not compatible? Dashkin entity. It's a Dashkin entity. I don't know why you're complaining, Mr. Red Squiggly Line. And we're also going to want to be able to fill out from another Dashkin entity object thing. So it's going to be reset, and if obj is null, then we're just going to return. You just have idioms like that, or do you don't know them now between? Yeah, I guess that's true. It's also one of those things that's probably really hard to translate between languages when you have figures of speech. It's just like, none of this crap makes sense. Yeah, I was just out earlier. I was actually walking around the park that is near my parents' house, enjoying the scenery. Because it's like a nice day out and everything else. So I at least went outside a little bit. Yes, the outside. You know there are people out there? Couldn't find parent type Dashkin logic object named Dashkin verse class in any modules parsed so far. Alright, well that's probably our logic object getting all pissy about extending from a class that doesn't exist. We're gonna have to throw this in like this thing in a header file that basically everything knows about in the entire game. So, yeah. I think I've seen some of them. Yeah. I would advise you to stay away. Keep your distance. People can be unpredictable at best and violent at worst. Or just creepy at worst. So once we have this all done, basically it's going to make our blueprint lives a lot simpler. Instead of having a whole bunch of like getters on stuff that's crazy, not fun. Is movement data actually a class? Yeah, it must be because it's got the U on the front there. Cool, so what we're going to do is we're going to move this somewhere where everything uses it. I think probably what that means, this object helps hold basic variables for all our base classes which can be blueprinted. Where do we want to throw this? Like, entity utils is not a great place to throw it. It's an okay place to throw it though. Maybe Dashkin entity data is a better place to throw it. Let's take a look at if Dashkin entity data is actually... Wow. Visual Studio locking up with it like the best of them. Like, I know where the damn file is, Visual Studio. Just like, if you could stop, if you could just fail on the fetch, then that'd be okay. Because I know what you're doing. You're looking for a file that's called dashkinentitydata.h, and you're looking at all the different places for it. But you know where it is? It's right here. And it is, yes, it is a generated file. Well, I'm not against it. But entity utils, yeah, fine. Okay. We'll just do it. We'll just make it work. So you're a Dashkin entity object. You are a Dashkin entity object. You are a Dashkin entity object. And we also need to make sure to include this Dashkin entity utils in all other places. We don't need everything to extend it, just the things that we blueprint off of. So we're not blueprinting off of the movement object, so it doesn't need to be it. We're not blueprinting off of the entity actor either. So it's really just these things that we need. So we need to go into our initializers for all of our things. And the first thing we want to do is where are you? We want to call fill from actor with parent. And that'll fill all of our things out. So logic object, logic state, it's not fill from actor, it's fill from object and pass in the parent. And then once we get some of these done, we can chuck some of this stuff. So I think that's pretty much there, so let's see if it works. And we can probably start getting rid of a few things as well if this is all nicely buttoned up. So where are we calling the initialize for? Looks like I'll need to also be pretty careful about some of the order of initialization for all this stuff. How's it going, Lucas? We're working on simplifying our lives inside of Blueprints at the moment. We put together some basic FatStack AI, and we switched over our player character controller to using Blueprints, which is the brains now exist. You lose your emoticons? What? Why are you losing your emoticons, Lucas? Is it because you're no longer going to be subscribed to Adam? If so, that's very sad. Had to unsub? Yeah, that's how it is. Still a patron. Well, it's all good. We're getting work done, so that's what's important. And all that. Alright, so our movement is like here and all that, so I can get everything I need. So what's something I should take a look at real quick? I should get my entity type real quick and like print it out or something like that. That'd be cool. Let's get... Do we have variables? Yeah, we got get actor, animation, controller, entity data. Yeah, let's get our movement data and let's print it out. Can we hook up get display name? Get jump velocity? See if we can just print that out. Oh, that's cool. So we can just do something like this now instead of all that gobbledygook that we had before. And we don't have to worry about the control exec arrow going to where it is. We can just do stuff like this to get and use variables. So let's actually put a breakpoint on that, compile it, and hit play. And we totally hit it. And our output log says where is it? Hit breakpoint, script call stack. Cool, it's right there, 1,000. Excellent. What do I think of NeoGAF? Let me see. Oh my god. Can I say Das Track because you're NeoGAF? I am not familiar with NeoGAF. What are you? Let's see. NeoGAF is a Nexus hardcore gamers, enthusiasts, and blah blah blah. What? So this is just like some big forum of all the things. I have never been to NeoGAF before. No, no, don't look it up. I don't know, it looks like basically the same thing as Reddit gaming and all that. Random blarg. Anti-everything extreme leftist. I am leftist, but not only that, but... What, so it just turned into like some frickin' hate bash fest? Everything that's cool is not cool? Well, I mean, if you're gonna make a thread saying like everything is not cool, then obviously you're gonna be calling stuff not cool. I mean, all the cool people are cool because all the other people are not cool, right? It is not good enough that I succeed. Others must fail for me to look more successful. That's just kind of like, that's just 101. That's what you learn the first day of college, right? They line you up and you're like, all right, you know, the guy left of you is gonna fail, and the guy to the right of you is gonna fail. And you're gonna succeed, and you're better than them because they failed. Not because of your own merits, but because you're better than they are. It's an equivalence. It's like voltage, right? Voltage is a difference. You know, you have to have a difference to actually have like an electrical current, right? So something has to be more positive in order for it to exist, right? So step one in making a community that is cool is to make everyone else be douchebags. It's banning people. Yeah, that sucks. Alright, so now we have all the things available, and we can just actually make crap without having to do awful things. So why don't we put this into practice real quick? So if we go to our fat sack animation, we'll just start with idle real quick, and let's see where we can actually maybe, like, we got this like get logic controller thing. Basically all we have to do is we just do this, and there we go. Like, boom. We just removed a whole flow control thing, and is there a way to remove a node but not remove the there's like break links, yeah, but is there like a delete that preserves the in-between? You see Bitey running? Oh, you haven't seen Bitey running around? We've been working on the camera and stuff like that. Let me just compile this real quick.